Hello, I'm Monica Price and welcome to Cuppa TV. On today's show we have a singer-songwriter who's helped raise over $30,000 for Amnesty International. We welcome Pete Colorado. Staying with the music, we welcome musical artist Nathaniel Shaw, who joins us in the studio today to share his story. And finally, international author, awakening facilitator and healer, we welcome Sidra Jafri. My first guest is a man who, after entering a competition, helped raise awareness and money for Amnesty International. We welcome singer-songwriter Pete Colorado. Pete, welcome to Cuppa TV.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful to see you here.
It's wonderful to be here.
Pete, tell us about your career. I mean, you've been in the music industry for a while now.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
I've been involved in the music industry for, well, over 10 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I've been writing songs. I was writing songs long before that.
I was going to say, have you always been a writer? Because often writers write from, from a child, from an early age.
I have. I actually started writing. I used to write limericks and stuff like that. And I just, with natural progression, I just moved into songwriting.
And was it something you saw yourself doing, or was it just something you just fell into?
I just started writing songs. I wasn't very good at it, to be honest, when I first started.
Honest.
No, I wasn't very good at it because I really didn't know how to write songs. And my elder sister used to be a kind of a mentor to me. And she used to say that this doesn't match this, or this doesn't make any sense with this and that. And
so
it used to really hurt my feelings, you know. But anyway, I prolonged it. I just carried on. And I joined an American, the American Songwriting Association. And in it, they advertised a guy called Buddy Kay. And Buddy Kay had a songwriting sort of course, but all done with cassettes and everything. And I actually bought this cassette, and it was 8 hours.
I remember cassettes.
Yes.
But we will pretend we don't know.
It was the C90s
yes.
in those days. And anyway, I listened to 8 hours of it. I used to go to work, come home, and I used to put this on. And Buddy Kay basically told me and showed me how to write songs. The singable words, the words that you don't use, you know, the very hard words and stuff, the do's and don'ts, how to approach songwriting and that sort of thing. So it kind of opened up my mind, and I got better as the time went on. And my sister, who was an air hostess at the time, had a huge interline ball, as all airlines used to do, and all of them used to have this yearly thing. So who turned up was a BBC radio DJ, a guy called Pete Murray. Well, Pete Murray goes way back, and anyway, she started saying, "Oh, my brother writes songs and stuff. You got to listen to these songs and stuff." So anyway, he phoned me up, and I couldn't believe it. He phoned me up and he said, "How many songs have you got?" So I said, "Well, I've got a few." He said, "Well, how good are they?" So I said, "They're crap, you know." So then he said to me, he said, "Look," he said, "when you've written another 6 songs," he said, "give me a bell." And he gave me his number and everything. So I phoned him up, and he made an arrangement for me to go to Tottenham Court Road to KPM Music. And who was fronting KPM Music was a guy called Johnny Gordon. And I never had a car. I was just, you know, a young guy at the time. And I arrived late. And Pete Murray said to me, you know, he said, "You should have been here 15 minutes ago." He said, "Neil Diamond was here." And I went, yeah, and so it was a kind of a missed opportunity. And they played the 6 songs, and the secretary who was sitting down there, she was marking me out and giving me 6 out of 10 for this, and 4 out of 10 for that, and sort of stuff like that. But, you know, but Pete said, he said, "You're on the right wavelength." He said, "So keep writing and stuff like that." And then Johnny asked me to write a few more songs. I wrote them, and he was entering them in, you know, like for Britain, for these Eurovision song competitions and stuff like that. The songs were getting a little bit of recognition, sort of coming, like, I don't know, like in the top 300 and stuff like that, from thousands and thousands of songs, you know. So I've progressed from there.
Wow.
Basically.
I mean, so really your passion, it sounds like, is the writing.
Yes.
You know, that's your passion.
Yes.
And then did you just naturally fall into the singing?
Well, you know something? I wanted to be a singer when I first saw Elvis. I saw
That's
Elvis.
a good enough reason.
I saw Elvis in Jailhouse Rock. You know, I was very young. And I thought, well, this is it. You know, everybody, I think the whole world wanted to be like Elvis, to be honest. Anybody who could sing wanted the quiff and everything else. And but as I formed a school band, stuff like that, you know, we gigged, did a few sort of school shows and whatever. And then when I left school, I fell into some other musicians, guys I was working with, and we formed a band, and we never really got off the ground from rehearsal. You know, one of the other guys, the drummer, was stolen from another rock band, went and played with the Foundations or something like that. And so I just progressed, and I just carried on writing songs, and that's the way I did. And as I recorded them, from what I could afford, I would go into demo studios and, you know, just record them, whatever.
What are you doing now? So you've got an album, haven't you?
Yes, I've got
Tell us
an
about
album,
that.
Faith and Imagination. Well, how Faith and Imagination came about was quite basically, I hadn't actually written songs specifically for Faith and Imagination. I had joined the world's largest independent A&R company called Taxi, which is American. And I was invited over as one of the members for these songwriter conventions. And I went over in November of one year, and I just pulled out, because I was cataloging all my songs together, I just pulled the kind of songs that I thought, well, I can do that. Now that's the kind of song that I would do live. So I picked a selection of songs, and I compiled them into a CD, just a rough CD, and I went to America. Well, while I was there, I met a guy who used to write songs for Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys, a guy called Jason Bloom. I had Jason as a mentor for 10 minutes, and I walked in the room and I couldn't find Jason. Jason grabbed my arm and he said, "You're looking for me?" So I said, and I sat down and he said, "Well, what do you got?" So I said, "I've got this CD with 10 songs. So he said, "Well, we haven't got time to listen to 10 songs. I said, "You have." I said, "If you listen to 40 seconds of each song." So Jason said, "Okay." So I gave him my CD player, he put the cans in, and he listened, and he was really giving it some, you know. And he said, "Well, what do you want to do with this?" So I said, "I'm thinking of making this into an album." I said, and also, I said, "I've come here to the States because I want a record deal." He said, "Listen," he said, "that's going to be a little bit difficult." He said, "Record companies don't just sign you like that, you know." So he said, "Why don't you go back," he said, "and release it yourself." So that's what I did.
And then from there, you've got the singles.
And from there, I released singles, working with the Steve Osborne Media, okay? And things have been progressively going very well.
And you've got Bad Girls, haven't you?
I've got Bad Girls presently, yes.
And tell us about that, because that came about from you going to London.
I came back from work one day, and there was a BBC documentary on it. It was very early in the evening, like 6 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. It must have been on for about half an hour. And there were some problems up in Camden Town, King's Cross, Euston, up that area, where they were having too many troublesome people, okay? They had drug addicts, aggressive beggars, and they had prostitutes. So Camden, because the local people had complained about it, Camden felt necessary to take action. So they decided to have a cleaning campaign. They got the coppers involved, you know? And I watched all of this, and some of the girls were very young. Some of them were much older. And the coppers, the way they were getting rid of them and stuff like that, I began to feel very sympathetic, you know? I literally, Mordecai, I just flipped a coin, okay? And I saw the other side of it. And I tried to understand what would make these young girls, or women in general, go this way. It's the most difficult thing in the world for a woman to really lower her guard that way, degrade herself, dishonor herself, sell herself. And I felt compassionate. And I also felt that these women are providing a service. Now, anybody providing a service has got to be a good thing, okay? Now, you can pick up any newspaper you like, and you're going to find something to do with sex in it. A-list people use high-class call girls, okay? Lower down the spectrum, people use these people on the street. There was curb crawling going on, traffic was being slowed down at night, coppers decided to do something. And because of this, I decided to see the other side of the coin, and I thought, well, all women who do this are not necessarily bad, okay? They could have been forced into it by pimps, they could have been forced into it because of money problems, relationship problems, but they were also helping relationships, because why else would you go to people like this? If you're not getting it at home, you're getting it from somebody else, okay?
So out of that, you decided to write.
And I decided to write Bad Girls. And I said bad girls are nice because chances are they're pretty good people.
And following the success of that single, wait, what are you going to be doing now? What's your future?
My future is that I have a lot of half-written songs, okay? I don't have a great deal of money, so I'm hoping, so I've got to get money together. And as and when I go into studios, I finish off these songs, I get musicians together, and
it seems to be that, you know, I have many musicians that come on the show, and it seems to be, you know, the money is always a problem with musicians because it's such a creative need for them to express themselves and deliver their music, but there's not always a lot of money in the music industry. Would you agree with that?
Yes, because recording today is very, very expensive. And guys like me, you know, we have to earn money in various ways. We have to do jobs, we have to do all kinds of stuff. You know, we got a gig, we've got to try and get money together in order to feed our habits. And our habits are creative people. So we create songs, it's what the world needs. And, but we need money to do this.
And what about shows, Pete? Would you like to do some shows?
I have done shows, but I've come back from shows because if I do shows, my songwriting suffers, okay? And I am first priority a songwriter.
So where do you go when you write your songs? Do you sit at a piano or a guitar, or do you just...
I could be driving along in my car. If I'm alone, I always carry a little recording tape with me. You never know when ideas are going to hit you. You know, something you say to me today
I could be in a song.
might give me an idea. Okay, so let's see what happens. I read magazines, I listen to the news, I listen to people's conversations. People tell me something that rings, okay? We're just kind of glued to that, you know? I think it's because we've been writing for so long, these things become automatic, you know? As soon as you say something, the alarm bells go off. And I remember these sort of things. I mean, Stevie Wonder, okay, who's one of the most prominent songwriters around, took 12 years to write I Just Called to Say I Love You. 12 years. So if it takes Stevie that long sometimes, I'm not saying all songs happen that way, but occasionally songs that you really work hard at, because you're creating them yourself and you're trying to build around an idea, it takes time.
And sometimes, like you say, you write half a song maybe, and then you'll leave that for maybe months, years, and then you come back to it.
Yes.
And then you look at it and think, yes, that's quite good, and then you just add to it, or is that how you
know
do
something?
it?
I've got a lot of half-written material, half-written songs around in various books, okay? I have a little notebook only for song titles of songs that I will be writing in the future, but with little notes as to the kind of mood I'm in that present time, as to why I want to write a song like that.
And what genre of music would you say, Pete, that your music fits into, or would you write songs for all different genres?
I think somebody once, years ago, EMI offered me a contract on one song, okay, on a song that I've got on Faith and Imagination called I'm Gonna Make It. And the guy turned around to me and he said, we really like this song. He said, what would you like to do after that? So I said, I'll give him a rock track. And he said, you'll die a death. So I said, what do you mean I'll die a death? He said, because, he said, we need to categorize you within a certain area. I said, stick me in miscellaneous.
I was going to say, as a songwriter, is that how it works, it operates? Do you have to be in a certain category, or can you just write for all different genres? How does it work?
Record companies don't like you deviating from a particular genre.
So if you're in soul, stick to soul.
If you're a pop rock artist, they want you to be a pop rock artist. If you're a reggae artist, they want you to be a reggae artist. They don't want you moving around. But I mean, to hell with it. I'm a songwriter, you know? And every songwriter or every artist is striving to come up with something different each time, okay? When I turned around to him and I said, look, I said, Culture Club only had one reggae track, which was, Did You Really Want to Hurt Me? I said, what have they done since? I said, but quite basically, I said, if you released I'm Gonna Make It, I said, and I came up with a rock track, I said, the audience will welcome it because it's different. I said, and that's the way you have to remember. I said, I'm a songwriter, first of all. I said, it would be absolute nonsense, I said, and boring, if I was to give you the same old thing over and over again. You're going to turn around and go, well, can't you do something different, mate?
Well, I wish you all the success.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Very nice for having me.
Stay with us. We're just going to take a quick break. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. We now welcome local musical artist Nathaniel Shaw, who's using his music to express his views on life. Nathaniel, thank you so much for joining me.
You're right.
Wonderful to see you here on Cuppa TV. So Nathaniel, tell us a little bit about your life and how it all began for you.
Well, I'm 25. What, do you want to talk about the music?
Yeah, how did you get into the music?
Well, ever since primary school, I've been into music. Well, it was more choir in primary school, and then we got to secondary school, and obviously you get to do more options. So we used to go to this place called Technology, and we used to go there and we used to do music, but it was just as fun, because there was an artist called Dizzy Rascal, and everyone wanted to be Dizzy Rascal.
We know him.
And that's how it all started. That's how it all started.
So he really was one of your inspirations.
Yeah, for the rap.
For the rap music, yeah, because you call yourself a musical artist, don't call yourself a rap artist, do you? So why is that? Why did you differentiate?
Because I can sing too, but it's more like the fact that like, the rap's more of the aggressive side. Like if I have a point to get across in the aggressive side, it'll be rap, and if it's more of an emotion, it'll be through singing.
Do you feel that the rap music is the best way to express that then?
Yeah, I feel like the rap's more, because I can, there's some certain songs I have out there that you can actually hear my heart in the song, like crying out. So I think like the rap's definitely.
That's your way that you like to express yourself.
Yeah.
But you have actually been classical trained, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've done opera.
Since I was 16.
Yeah, so what made you decide to go into that genre of music, or was it just a natural flow for you?
I did a few singing competitions, like known national ones, not going to say no names, and then like I didn't go back for the callbacks, and then a girl was on MSN so old, but was on MSN, and she told me about the opportunity, so I just took it, and then we went to the BBC for the finals, and I also got to sit next to Nigella Lawson.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because they got booked at the same time.
Yeah.
But in the process of winning, they give you free singing lessons and you get to perform all over. So that's what I did, and then I got classically trained.
Wow, so you won that competition, did you?
Yeah.
Yes, you won. What was that then?
It's called Hidden Voices.
Wonderful. And so was it like The Voice? Was it the idea where they didn't see you, but they just heard your voice?
They
or they did
I think
see
it was
you?
more Hidden Voices because like we didn't go in singing opera, we was like doing pop.
Oh,
and they was going to like transfer us over to opera.
Yeah.
So they find in something inside of us.
And how did you find opera?
I think it found me. Because I used to listen to a group called the Choir Boys when I was a kid, and they got signed, but I was like, I'm from like a troubled area compared to them, but I was like, if they can do it, I can do it, and it just went from there.
And do you feel that's a genre of music that you'd like to sort of explore more when your musical career, you know, blossoms as I
progress, I think like I definitely want to do a Christmas album in classical, definitely. I think that'd be good.
That'd be good. Rap classical album, that would be great.
That would.
And now though, Nathaniel, you're doing lots of different things, aren't you? You've done lots of shows this year. Tell us about those. What have you been doing?
I've done a few shows this year. I did my first paid one yesterday, so I'm buzzing about that one, at Shady Cow in Nottingham. That's for like the LGBT community coming together and trying to get their artists national. So I think it's a good look. For my friend Emily Franklin, I performed at Nottingham Pride, which was a good show. It was a good turnout, and then I've done a few other shows in the progress.
Is it hard, Nathaniel, when you first start out in the business? Is it a hard start for you?
Yeah, it's been difficult because I feel like, not to blow my own trumpet, but I feel like I'm one of the best in the UK, not just the Midlands. Like, because what I'm saying is genuinely real stuff. A lot of people try and brainwash the youth to think it's all right to go to prison or all right to do this, lead this certain life when it's not. And I'm trying to tell like the truth, and it's like I'm not getting heard.
And was that stem from your own past experiences, Nathaniel? So tell us about those.
Well, basically, when I was 9 months old, I went into care, but I didn't realise that till a couple of years ago. I had to read it on a piece of paper. And then I was in there till I was about 18. And it was just like a troubled upbringing. I didn't really get to see my mum much. My dad died when I was 9. And then I went into a hostel, youth hostel, which it was like on the red light district, where there was a lot of call girls and stuff. So I've seen a lot of stuff I didn't really want to see. And it made me into like a rebellious person. So it has been troubled. I've been in, like, I had little scrapes with the law, but like I'm not really trying to get involved in that lifestyle. I'm trying to show people there's more to life.
And what brought you out of that lifestyle, Daniel, would you say? Did your music help you?
Yeah, I'd say my music definitely, because when you're writing music, you take a step back and you actually like look at it, and then you look at the whole different situation. And it's also to show people in care as well that just because you come from that doesn't mean you have to end up the way that most of us do go. Most of us do end up in prison, but I want to show that we can be stars too. And that's my point. That's why I'm doing it.
Why do you think that is, though, Nathaniel? Why do you think so many people do go down a path of crime?
I think it's because it's like expected of kids in care. Like when I was coming up, I remember when I was a kid, I got a football trial in London, and it was like, yeah, we'll definitely pay for you, because not many kids in care like do stuff like this. Like they all end up going to prison, and it's stuck with me since then. It's because it's like they expect us to go down that road, because there's not much hope for a kid in care, and I want to prove that there is hope for us, and I will fly the flag high for everyone.
So how can your music do that? What are you going to do?
By like, I just speak like where I come from, and I'll always hold it down for my like people, as in with like even the gay community, and like I'll always represent for these people, like regardless how big I get, I'm trying to bring them through too. I'm trying to open the door for us all, and that's what my message is. That's what keeps me going.
Do you think there's a lot of prejudice still in music and in life in general against people who say, like you say, in care, and people who are seen to be different and just want a different path of life?
Yeah.
Do you feel that you know that there is a prejudice against people that just want to have something different?
I think not within the music industry when it comes to care, because a lot of people, especially with rap, there's a lot of people that come out of prison and start rapping. It's something for them to do to keep them out of trouble. But with the gay side of it, especially in the rap industry, yeah, definitely there's prejudice, because they don't understand that gay people, they're not all like camp. We don't all dress up like girls. Like people are different. People are normal people just like everybody else. But they don't see it. They use all them homophobic words, and it's not nice. Like I expect a gay person to be themselves in the world, not just in the industry, if you're always going to put them down.
Just respect, really.
Yeah, it's respect, but it's just like now the gay people are going through like what people did like when there was different colours. It's the same how people see it.
And your music, are you always going to be, when you're writing your music, what do you do, Nathaniel? Do you take yourself off somewhere and do that?
It's
or is
weird
it just...
because I don't write anymore. When I was a kid, I used to write on paper. Now it's just my mind. Everything I do is in my mind. And
so
then,
you don't even write it down?
No, like if I get like something, I'm like, oh, I might forget this. I'll pull it on my phone, like record it, but that's about it.
Now we're going to see your video
Yeah.
today. So tell us about that. Tell us about how that came about.
Motherland was a song I struggled with writing it, but then as I got the melody, I dedicated it to my father. He passed away, which is my granddad, but he raised me. Like I never met my real dad, so I cast him as my dad, like because he's the only person that raised me. So, and I made that song for him, and we shot it in Trent Bridge, a place where he used to live.
That's Nottingham, isn't it? Yes.
Right near Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we shot that for him and just dedicated that to him.
Yeah. And how did you feel once you'd done that? Because obviously I've seen the video. It's a very powerful, emotive video, really.
Yeah, for me, I'm more the person like in the studio. I like making the music more than shooting the videos. So for me, the music side, yeah, it was emotional, but the music video, obviously, it was good too.
What would you like to do, Nathaniel? Would you like to have, do a single? Is that what you're thinking? What's the next move for you?
I've got singles. That's actually on iTunes. So a few of my music's on iTunes, but my next move is to like try and find a manager, go on tour. Like I'd like to go Brighton on tour, like and just do like clubs. I just want to get my name out there and just inspire as many people as possible.
And what do you think the stumbling blocks will be to stop you from doing that?
Just not getting heard, not getting a manager. Like it's important for an artist coming up, especially like talented. Like we need to be heard. We need someone to reach out to us and help us. And I think like that's the only stumbling block. If people don't reach out, it's hard. This industry's hard. But I feel like if someone picks me up and helps me, I think definitely we can do this.
And do you think that social media is a powerful tool for a young artist like yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me personally, Facebook and Instagram are more powerful. Like Twitter's good for someone who's a more known. Definitely, but like when you're just coming up, Twitter's a bit harder. But Facebook, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, most young artists I have on the show, it's all the power of social
Yeah,
media.
power.
Lots of their music, their whole musical life really at the moment is just on social media.
Especially with the iPhones, because you can download it straight from iTunes. So that's why if you want to put your music out, iTunes is like the best path as well.
Fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you, Nathaniel. We're going to watch your video now. So thank you so much for coming on Cuppa TV, and come back and see me soon.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So to play us out to the break, we watch the video Motherland.
And that's just what my heart says. I was falling, now I'm rising up. I'm gonna make it. I was falling, now I'm rising up. I've got a spaceship. I sold my soul to the motherland, and now I'm heading to another land. I left my soul in the motherland. Ashes to dust, the smoke is gone. Lost my dad, and now the hope is gone. The carpet is down, the throne is near. I feel my dad, and now the hope is here. I see my daddy die at the age of 9. Life's too short, I'm not wasting time. They can take my soul, but they can't take my mind. Why should I give a shit when it takes to shine? My life, my way. I'll be in the club on a Friday. I told my dad that I'ma make him proud. I'm bulletproof, they can't take me out. I was falling, now I'm rising up. I'm gonna make it. I was falling, now I'm rising up. I've got a spaceship.
Welcome back to Cuppa TV. My final guest today is a lady that's seen global success with her work and runs global events, and we welcome author and healer Sidra Jafri. Hello Sidra, thank you so much for joining me on Cuppa TV.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful to see you. We've obviously got your books to talk about, but Sidra, let's go back and talk about, first of all, how it all began for you and where you've actually find yourself now.
From the beginning, it all started. To be honest, I wasn't aware, or I wasn't awakened rather, until late 20s. So I was born in Pakistan. I was one of 3 sisters. My dad was, I didn't know at that time, but he was abusive in a way. And I think it's more of a cultural thing, because I thought everybody got beaten. No, I didn't realize that that's not normal to be beaten every day or being repressed. And then later I realized it was the cultural thing where girls versus boys. So we were 3 sisters, and my dad obviously wanted a boy. And then life carried on, and at 19 I did my first degree and I got married off to UK. And I came here, and to be honest, it wasn't arranged, but it was my choice, because I wanted to get rid of that hell so badly.
You wanted to leave behind.
Yeah, I wanted to leave behind. I thought, okay, that's my best possible option. So I made that choice and moved to UK. Little did I know that, you know, when I move from one hell, I'll find myself in a frying pan. You know, I was still depressed. I was still anxious. at 19, I found myself pregnant, and I had a baby by the time I was 20. It was such a cultural shock that I, tried to take my own life, didn't work. And it was in 2003 was my last attempt where I took an overdose, and I just prayed that just take me. And when I opened my eyes, and I came from a religious background where my mother said, just pray. So I started to pray, and I said, okay, this must be not it. There must be more to my life. So I started praying, and I said, if you're there, God, because I think at that time when you're feeling the lowest, the most thing that hits you is the loneliness, the isolation, where you feel that there's nobody there for you. So I said to God, if you're there, show me, tell me, what am I supposed to do? And something amazing happened. I recall the words of my teacher. When I was 19 and they found out I was moving to London, my teacher called me in his office and said, look around this college, Sidra, there are over 200 students, and all of them have a dream to make their lives better, but they can't afford it. God is giving you an opportunity to go to the land of education, which is UK. And he said to me, leave everything, never leave learning. At that time, I thought, what rubbish, I'm never looking at books again, because my Prince Charming is here and I'm going to live happily ever after. And those were the words, they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And those words just struck me, and I woke up and I said, right, I'm going to educate myself. And I said to my husband then, I said, I'm going to do my second degree. He jokingly said, nobody can win an argument with you, why don't you do a law degree? I said, fair point. And I started doing a law degree whilst having kids and looking after the household. I had this desire that there is more, I'm missing something. Because in all honesty, my life on the surface looked okay. I had a decent husband, good house, good income, 2 boys, which is like in our society, in my culture, a huge thing. But something was missing. I was still feeling depressed. So I took up criminology and psychology in my final year, and that really hit home. And I thought, who wants to save them? I want to fix their minds. And then in my final year, I took up a hypnotherapy course. And that's where my true awakening began, the power of the subconscious mind. And I became aware that my issues that I'm currently fighting are not right now. They are back from the childhood, the decisions I made, the things I witnessed, the agreement I made to myself that I will never be good enough, or whatever I was told, I believed that. And I was fighting a ghost.
And that was because of all your past history. And obviously it's had a huge impact on your life. And in the book, you've written about all what you've just been describing. And how has that left you now? I mean, at what point did you suddenly think, right, this is it, I'm going to change? Was that when you were just coming through your degrees?
It was an organic process. I wish I could tell you an epic story of my awakening, but it was such a gradual cognitive shift in reality that I didn't even realize I was changing. And I have to accredit every single bit of my change to education, my desire to know more, to learn more.
And did your bad experiences, obviously in your past with your family, and then obviously your marriage and your children, and as you say, on the surface everything appeared normal, but you were suffering from depression, was that something that was quite key for you to say, right, I'm going to change my life?
Yes.
I'm going to turn this around.
100%. And that courage, I needed to have courage, because I was doing something that was so off the norm, where especially in my family, it's unheard of. And when I decided I'm getting divorced, and the only reason I felt that was because I was in the wrong life. I was someone's mother, someone's daughter-in-law, someone's sister-in-law, but I wasn't me. Lights are on and there's nobody home. And this journey, the 9 Principles of Awakening, were the foundation of helping me discover what's me, what's not me. And my depression, Monica, I traced it all the way back through healing and therapy. I realized when I was born as a second daughter, my mother went into depression because she didn't know how to tell the in-laws that she has a second daughter. And the process is in the book, when I went back in time, I had a vision that my mom was depressed, and me making a decision that I'm not wanted. And that led entire lifetime of self-harm, suicidal attempts, attention seeking. And only when I lifted that it's more like a 1 minute wonder when I realized point of creation of that and shifted it. It's almost like something lifted.
Did something change?
Something changed within me. And that's when I decided, wow, a lot of us are actually living someone else's experience, someone else's decision. You know, our script of life is created by the time we're 3. The type of job we'll have, the type of people we'll marry or be with, the type of health we'll have. It's all like a sponge into our psyche. And a lot of us are unaware that we have a choice. That's when I made it my mission to help people to recognize that you always have a choice.
And as you say, it takes courage, because
takes courage.
you probably felt that after you'd gone through your process of awakening, you, as you say, you probably felt that it was all those years of not being a boy.
Yes.
Is that what you would say? It was that kind of the pinnacle thing. So not being a boy,
not being good enough.
And not being good enough really took you on your journey until you got to where you are, you know, now, of course.
100, and I truly appreciate, you know, if I look back in my life, I appreciate every single event of abuse, of beatings, of not feeling good enough, because that led me to be this person. You know, because I believe this world operates in contrast, you know, night and day, good and bad, happiness and sadness. And you won't know happiness unless you've experienced sadness. You know, you won't know kindness unless you've experienced unkindness. So I feel the kind, the generous, the loving person I am is because of the contrast that I experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And I recognize as an awakened person, I hope, that nothing is personal. You know, everybody is doing their best with the knowledge they have.
And we go back to courage, that word, because many people would stay and would have stayed in your situation. What was it for you that made you think, I'm just not going to stay? Was it just your strength of character, do you think, Sidra, or was it something else?
People say it's my craziness. Yeah. because I felt that, so I did something called future life progression, which is you don't have to physically go into the future because everything is energy. So you can close your eyes and imagine your life 5 years in the future. So I imagine my life 5 years in the future. I'm still living in the same house, going to the same mosque, doing the same things, and I felt I've died. There was no life in me. Then on the other hand, I couldn't see my future, but it felt light. So it's almost like when the pain of staying is more than the pain of leaving, then you move. Otherwise, a lot of us are comfortable in our own little miserable life. You know, better the devil we know than the angel we don't. So that's what, one day I woke up and I said to my husband then, I said, I'm leaving. He said, you can't. I said, watch me. And I literally, this is one of the craziest moments. I picked up my bag. Most people take their jewelry, money. I didn't even check my bank account. I picked my books, because that I hold on to as if my life depends on it. My books, and I left. I didn't even know where I was going, like literally. And luckily, my father's friend, I went to his house and I said, I'm going to die. He said, no, don't do that. And he gave me an annex. He said, you can live here rent-free. I didn't even have £200 in my account. But I knew that if I stayed, I would die. And the decision I had to make was my kids having a dead married mother or a live divorced mother.
And when you left, what was the reaction to the family?
Interesting, least to say. Yes. But I feel, as I said, everybody did the best with the knowledge they had. For them, I was bringing shame, I was bringing dishonor to the family. How dare I just walk out on something amazing? And my mother begged me to say, she said, why are you doing this? You even have boys. You know, all her life she was scrutinized, she was like belittled because she only had girls. In her mind, she can't understand that God has given me boys and still I'm unhappy. Yeah.
Now, I mean, we laugh about it, you know, because obviously you're telling the story and you've got through it, but it's very serious, isn't it, for many women in your situation who've stayed in their situation just because of that one thing.
Just because of one thing. And like to the point they were saying, okay, if you don't like him, give him permission for second marriage, but stay married. And I thought, for what? But in their minds, it was such a big thing that they disowned me. Like, my parents didn't speak to me for 3 years. My friends, I started getting hate mails from community people saying you're greedy. A lot of people thought I was greed, power hungry, materialistic, who left her family because of ambition and career. Yeah, because like people said, oh, she's become westernized. That's why you shouldn't educate girls, because if you educate them too much, they leave. That was the general thought.
And how did that make you feel?
You know, it made me, I felt really sad, in all honesty. I felt hurt. But then I realized in one of the principles is it takes one to see one. And what it says that until and unless you believe that story, at some level you believe it to be true, only then it hurts. Like, for example, if I say to somebody, you are a robot or you are a donkey, they know they're a human being. So no matter how many times I say, it won't affect them. But if I say you're stupid, at some level, if they believe it, it will start to hurt. So when it hurt, I started going inside and saying, okay, what part of me believes that? And I found that culture programming, religious programming, the girls programming, that was genuinely feeling upset, that as if I was conflicted. And only when I made peace with I am who I am where I am, funny thing happened, those emails started dissolving. Because I believe that the world is a reflection, a mirror. So whatever's going inside, people are reflecting outside. So I believed inside that I was that person, which was reflecting in through emails. And then when I started making peace with it, suddenly some people turned me into a legend and started sending me emails saying, thank you so much for having the courage to live your truth. Because of you, I left my marriage. Or because of you, I had the courage. And I thought,
you became an inspiration.
I became an inspiration all of a sudden.
How did that make you feel?
Really good. Yeah. But to be honest, in all honesty, I was just doing what was right for me. And whatever meaning people put behind my actions was making them feel in a certain way about me. I was doing the exact same things.
So where did you find your strength from? Where would you say your strength came from?
I think it's inside, and I feel my strength when all is lost. That's when you find who you truly are. When I had nothing, my children were taken away, my family wasn't talking to me, I literally had no friends, no money. I was down at my rock bottom, and that's when praying, I guess it's the belief that there has to be a bigger plan than this. Like, this can't be it. That perseverance of knowing that, okay, take me, I'm yours. I know I'm not supposed to be that person, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be. So following that invisible thread of energy was my savior.
So after you did that, which was a very brave and courageous thing for you to do, what did you do? You continued with your studies?
Yes,
then what did you do? Did you then realise that there was a purpose for you, which was obviously what you're doing now?
So when I walked out, I already had a skill set. I was already practicing, or had clients as a hypnotherapist. So I had a little bit of skill set in my hand. So I started praying. I say, like, my annex bill was, let's say, £500. So I used to pray, and I used to say, when I say pray, I don't mean any religious connotation. I mean something that's outside of me, something that's bigger than me.
More like a thought process.
Process, something like a superconscious mind, which listens to me. So I said, please, I want to pay this bill, show me the way. And then somebody sent me an email saying, oh, my friend, you healed her, she was having infertility issues, now she's pregnant, or somebody's weight loss, can you please see me? 5 sessions, £500, annex rent paid. So that's how day to day, I started seeing clients on Skype, zero cost, and building myself up. And then when I fully surrendered, Monica, right people, right situations, just showed up in my life saying, hey, let me help you. Oh, you have an amazing gift, let me help you. And it's just, before I knew it, I was writing a book, an awakening facilitator. My first workshop had 150 people in the room. Even this book, like, people started saying to me, Sidra, do you have a book? Do you have a book? I thought, no, I don't. Like, I'm a speaker, but I'm not an author.
An awakening facilitator, just tell us what that means.
So awakening facilitator, in my dictionary means that helping them recognize that the life they're living is not truly theirs. You know, we're a result of our programming. Somebody, environment, parents program us, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an engineer, you're going to be this, and live such life. And we feel unhappy deep down inside us, but we don't know why. You know, we go to work, we complain about our spouses. We come home, we complain about our bosses. You know, we're complaining at wrong people, not recognizing that we need courage to speak up. So I kind of facilitate that awakening by putting their life into a microscope, into a lab, and see, hey, you're facing financial challenges? Let's trace that thread. Where is the point of creation of it? Oh, when you're 7 years old, you stole money and your dad told you off that you'll never have money. And that decision, you're still living as a financial challenge. Relationships are the main things I've seen, how people experience their first interaction of relationship. That's how they're subconsciously looking to recreate. Like if you have an abusive parents or dad is an alcoholic and you're 6 years old, you witness that. Now you're 36, ready, looking for an amazing guy, but that 6-year-old you will attract abusive partners. And consciously you don't know why, but it's that subconscious 6-year-old you, that's all she knows.
So you take people and work through this process and really show them another way.
Yes, choice,
and give them choice. And the book itself is out now, of course.
Yes,
people can buy the book from you. And how do you see your future?
How do I see my future?
Are you going to continue to do what you're doing now?
I can't. It's almost like I don't know what to do with myself if I'm not doing this, because I love it. Like even last night, my son, we're chatting and we're discussing what drives you, what makes me get up 6 in the morning and drive for 3 hours to be here, and what makes me happy is witnessing people's happiness. You know, that's my drive. It is priceless when somebody comes on stage, they're like been trying for a baby for years and years and years, and we do a process 3 months later or 6 weeks later, she's pregnant. You know, it's just, and it's so simple yet so profound. I want to make the tools of awakening accessible across the globe.
Yes, and you are. I mean, you're global.
Yes.
You work with many people across the globe through Skype and various other social. Thank goodness for social media, and the network. That's right. But is that something you're going to continue with that, and presumably that will lead your career maybe onto another path?
Yes.
Do you keep your mind open with
100%. And one of my dreams is, you know how we have Samaritans, a helpline. I want to create another helpline called Key Life. Keep empowering yourself, and so nobody ever in the world feels they don't have someone. I don't want any other Sidra to try and kill herself without knowing that if I pick up that phone, I have a friend. You know, a lot of times loneliness is the root cause of all evil.
Well, it's been fascinating speaking to you, Sidra. We've got to leave it there, I'm afraid, but thank you so much for coming on Cuppa TV.
Pleasure.
Thank you. So that's it for today's show. I'd like to thank Pete, Nathaniel and Sidra for joining me today. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and come back and see me very soon. Bye-bye.